Hi, my name is Hannah Coleman. I'm Australian. I'm going to be showing you how to do a intravenous antibiotic treatment with Rocephin or Ceftriaxone using a PICC line. To start off with, what we do, because we have the treatment every day, is that we make up a week's worth of supplies in a bag. So this is 1 day's treatment. It's much easier because everything's inside of it, and you don't have to go through fiddling through boxes. So inside one of these packs, this is what you will need for 2 grams of Ceftriaxone or Rocephin. So you will need a giving set. So can you zoom in on that?
Yes.
A giving set. You're going to need 2 10ml syringes for the saline that you're going to put through the line. Along with that, you're going to need 2 10ml of injectable saline, not the saline you put your contact lenses in. This is different. You're going to need some heparinized saline, so that what the heparin does is that it,
Sorry.
at the end of the treatment, you put it into your line and it lowers the risk of clots within the line, so it rules out that kind of stuff. You're also going to need 2 5ml syringes for putting the heparin in and drawing back blood. It's important to draw back blood to see if the line is patent, so that you know if there isn't a blockage at the end of the line or if it's stuck to the wall of the vein. You're also going to need your drug of choice. No, I didn't mean it like that. So this is Rocephin or Ceftriaxone. This is 2 grams. You're also going to need alcohol swipes. Now, some people say you only need to swipe once, but, you know, better safe than sorry, because you don't want the hassle of putting in a new PICC line if you get an infection. So, always swipe more, because it's better than losing your line.
And they're cheap.
And they're cheap. And you're also going to need a needle for drawing up the Rocephin or Ceftriaxone. Now, I think it's important to get a safety needle so that you're not pricking yourself and getting infected with the drug, because in its raw form it is incredibly strong, and if you brush anything on your pants it will burn a hole through. So that's why we like to dilute it into a 100ml bag. Now in the instructions it says to dilute it in a 40ml solution, but we found that that burnt the inside of all of our veins. So, you know, if it's burning your veins, it's obviously not good for you. So we dilute it down even further, and it's going into a bigger vein, so it's just better for you and causes less damage. You're also going to need a
Sharps container?
Sharps container. Now, if you can't get a Sharps container, I would recommend getting one, because a jar is good, but
it depends on the law of where you live.
It depends on the law. Check your local county or state to see what the laws are about that kind of stuff. Alright, so we're going to get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to prepare all of our syringes with saline, such like that.
Do you want a hand, Hannah?
Obviously, my strength isn't as good as some people. So, yes.
Have you done your hands?
Oh, first thing first, you want to disinfect your hands. Now, a trick that you got to learn is don't blow onto your hands, because then all the germs from your mouth go onto your hands. Do not blow. Just wave them about until they're nice and dry. Make sure they're dry, otherwise they won't work. Okay, so now what we're going to do is important to make sure that these stay sterile. So you don't want it touching something that's dirty, because then you're putting something that's dirty into yourself, so you don't want to do that. Alright, so don't touch the top. Just twist it off. Then what you want to do is you want to place this in here. Maybe a bit tricky, but just keep pushing it in. Then some people like to draw back to get it in. If you can't, just sort of push the air back and the pressure will let the liquid go in. Now if you leave it like this and just put it down, that's sterile. because it's not touching anything. So we can just leave that like that. We'll do the next one. So making sure not to touch the top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some air out. So when I put it in, I'm just pushing more pressure into it. Like so. Make sure to hold it so that it doesn't go flying off. As you can see, it just draws back nicely. Alright. So as you can see, it's a sealed container, so that's okay. Because
Do you want to put the garbage in the garbage?
yeah, I'll make sure to keep your surface clean so that you're not making a mess and making it harder for yourself. So I'm using one of the 5ml syringes for this, so I put 10 ml of saline in these 10 ml syringes. Making sure to hold it so it doesn't blow off on you. Leave that there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to draw up the Ceftriaxone with the 10 ml solution, one of the 10 ml solutions of saline. So one of the tricks we learned is instead of opening it at the top, where you have to navigate the very long instruction booklet, open it from the bottom so you don't have to deal with that. So this is what it is. It's important not to touch the raw powder because it can be very dangerous in its raw form. So take the cap off. As you can see, it's sealed very well. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your needle. Now be very careful because needles are sharp. Now I know that sounds very stupid, but I have pricked myself with needles. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the needle onto the top of the saline. So if I do it like this, I'm not touching any of it, so the chance of infection or stabbing is less. So you're just going to put it on like so, and we can draw it off. So inside the Ceftriaxone bottle, you can see 3 little holes and a main hole. What you want to do is you want to place the needle inside the main hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cap off the needle, like that. Now be careful not to prick anything. So I'm just going to poke it in.
Do you want me to zoom in, Hannah?
Yep. So I'm going to poke it in and I'm going to push the saline into the solution. Now when you're mixing up a drug like Rocephin or Ceftriaxone, it's important that there are no lumps. So once you've mixed it up, hold it and shake it really well, because you don't want any lumps, because then that raw form, that powder, is going inside of you.
Can we pause just because they don't need to see you shaking it for a minute?
Yeah.